I just had a conversation with Derick Almena before they took him back to the holding cell, and he said that while he was relieved not to have been convicted, he has not and will not lose sight of the terrible tragedy that occurred, the fact that he was somehow involved in it, the fact that 36 families were shattered, the fact that there was the most unspeakable loss of life. And so, while he's happy, in a sense, to be unconvicted, he's very unhappy when he thinks about what happened and the fact that that can never be repaired. And I join him in those sentiments. For me, the overwhelming aspect of this case was always the loss of life and the heartbreak that these families suffered. And I never thought that the trial should have been held against Derick, because I didn't feel in my heart that he was responsible for it any more than a lot of other people were responsible for it. And there was... Who's responsible for it are the people governing a society where we are in one of the richest areas in the nation, and you step over bodies every time you cross the street, and people are starving, and there's mentally ill everywhere. And these people like Derick take a warehouse and get people out of the gutter and put a roof over their head and don't have the money to furnish it according to the laws of Oakland. And that's why this happened. So, in my view, there is a moral imperative here that's a reflection of society as a whole, where we are turning our back on the neediest who are all around us, particularly right here in Oakland.
Brian, why do you believe that Max Harris was acquitted on all counts and Derick Almena, a hung jury here?
I don't know that the disparity of the evidence was so great between one or the other, but I can only tell you, I think Max Harris is a well-meaning, wonderful individual. I just spent the last 6 months with him sitting at council table, and he is one of the most sensitive, thoughtful people I have ever met. And I don't know the answer, but I do know that he deserved what he got from this verdict.
What is next for Derick Almena?
We return on October 4th for a trial date setting.
When you talk about the loss of life, and you're clearly distraught about it yourself, should Derick Almena be held responsible for that? Many of the families believe he should.
I understand that completely, and I think in a moral sense he is responsible, but whether legally he should be convicted of involuntary manslaughter, I don't know about that. He's not a criminal. He's not a criminal type. He never in his life has hurt anybody. He's never done anything wrong to anyone. He's never had a bad thought toward anyone. And he tried to put together this utopian society where people could come off the street and live among artists, and he didn't have money for sprinklers. He didn't have money for fire extinguishers. He didn't have electric exit signs. He didn't have all the things that Oakland Code calls for. Yes, that's true. So he's morally responsible. But he never meant for this to happen. He was thunderstruck when it happened, and he's forever remorseful about the loss of life.
Can you talk, he has a wife and children as well?
He has a wife and 3 children that are waiting to hear from me.
Brian, you talked about October 4th for the trial date. Explain that to me. Another trial or a different trial?
When there's a mistrial, as there has been here, then generally speaking, the court sets a new trial date, and I would anticipate that to happen.
Do I have to go through this all over again?
If it goes that far.
Do you think it will?
We'll see.
You're really emotional about this, Brian. Do you blame the city? I hear that from you.
I don't know that I blame any particular entity. I think the tragedy happened because of a combination of circumstances, and I don't really think that it's possible to identify one source, and I just don't know.
Thank you, Brian. Curtis?